Sup, people. Welcome to All Things Phoka, the channel where we do the things with me, Phoka. So today we have some exciting, we have an exciting event, rather to say. I'm here, I'm not alone today. I'm with the amazing, the former first student of Stellenbosch, the president of Stellenbosch, Louis Mboko. So please introduce yourself, who you are, where you come from, how you got to Stellenbosch, and then we can get going.
Hi there guys, so as he has already mentioned, I'm Louis Mboko and I'm a Stellenbosch University student and the former chairperson or president of the Student Representative Council. So I got here in 2017 and I'm now doing my honors postgraduate studies in economics, hoping that I'll leave this place after finishing my masters. And I'm originally from Zimbabwe, but Joburg is also home for me. Oh. So it's I'm happy to be doing this with Phoka.
Awesome, man. Sharp. Okay, cool. So not to waste any time, in the beginning, what is our first exercise? What are we going to be starting with?
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we'll jog to the end of the field and then we'll come back with 3/4 pace, and then from the half till we get back here, it's going to be a sprint.
Okay,
and then the next exercise will follow.
Okay, sure. What the heck? Oh, man. Yeah. That was quite something. Okay, sure. Let's catch our breath. While we're catching our breath, I actually want to ask you, what motivated you, or what sort of inspired you to sort of run for SRC and further on run for chairperson of the SRC?
Okay, so I always believed that I was a normal student. Till today, I'm a normal student. So what motivated me was that there is a thing, leadership at times is like a bubble where you find the same people. So usually there's a misconception of the needs of the people who are at the very bottom, who is the normal student. So initially, when I decided to run, the whole point was I want a representation of a normal student who hasn't been in the leadership bubble. And I realized that in as much as I might want to see somebody like that, I can be that someone, so that I can come in with a whole new dimension, whole different method of doing things. And I think that was the same motivation that pushed me to run for chair and to also inspire other students. Because I remember when we ran, initially we had like 9 people running for the SRC, and then they had to reopen the elections so that other people could join. It was a thing of a lot of people thought that they're gatekeepers to the SRC. Like you just have to run if who and who knows you. So for me, it was also opening the door for a lot of students
to know that there's a possibility for anyone to actually run and occupy.
So it was also partly to inspire other students, to motivate other students, that it doesn't matter where you're coming from, it doesn't matter what you've been through, it doesn't matter where you even come from. In terms of like me being a foreign student, you can always do whatever you want, and it's a limitless horizon where you're not limited by what people think, what people say, what you've done, what you haven't done, but you're only limited by how much can you dream as an individual.
That's amazing. And I think we saw the fruits of that this year actually, where we had quite a lot of students actually stand compared to what we've had the last year.
24.
That's a lot. That's a huge jump. So surely some of that came from the inspiration that you sort of let out. Oh, another question then, sort of in your term, what was the biggest lesson that you've learned in your term that you've served now?
Okay, personally, the biggest lesson that I've learned is never expect people to have the same voice or like have the same opinions or like share a common goal. But if you are a leader, it goes back to you sitting down with these people, sitting down with everyone, trying to understand where they are coming from. The thing with a position like that, you're mixing with different individuals who are coming from different constituencies, who come from different backgrounds. So you have to realize that what you recognize as a primary need is not the same thing that I might recognize as a primary need for my constituency. So it's always like my biggest lesson was that you should never discredit whatever anyone thinks, but try to sit down with them, try to understand where they're coming from. And also, if you have to be in that position, you should be somebody who's able to come up with a middle ground between you and an individual who thinks differently from you. And if there are people that you should sit down with the most, is the people that you disagree with more than the people that you do agree with.
No, I definitely get that. Okay, let's just get it going. What is the next exercise that we'll be doing now?
Okay, so now what you're going to do is I'm still keeping it running, but it's not sprinting. There's no sprinting. We're going to do 10 push-ups here, and then we jog that side. We do 10 that side. We come back here, and then we do 20.
20 push-ups.
20 push-ups. It's whatever you can do till failure. I might not even get it yet. How are you feeling?
I'm breathless.
Give 15 more seconds.
Breath has run out. This is what's happening. I like it.
So the whole point with this is to wake up your whole body. Get it in form. It's like a warm-up at times if you want to run, or it's just a Saturday in the morning. You feel like you just need to wake up your muscles.
Yeah. That's good. I can feel it. No, all my muscles are awake.
Come Phoka.
I was telling you, I don't know if you saw me shaking or whatever, but that happened. Okay, just a quick question.
I
want to ask, you're really into this fitness thing, huh? So when did you actually start getting into fitness?
I think in high school, but in high school it was a forced thing. It was more of, so I used to play basketball. I used to play basketball, so it was kind of forced to us. Our coach would wake us up at like 5 a.m. I was at a boarding school. So they had that opportunity to wake us up at 5. We would run and then just do fitness in the morning, and then in the afternoon, that's when, like after classes, that's when we'd do like the ball games and everything we had to do. So at that time, it wasn't really into me. I used to hate waking up in the morning and all that.
I understand.
And then in 2016, I took a gap year.
Okay.
So I didn't really have a lot to do. That's when I just started the fitness journey. I could wake up, run, go to the gym, and it wasn't as consistent back at that time. In 2017, you know, the jump from you've been resting and then you come to university.
To grind.
It took a toll on me. I was here and there. Then I went back to 2018, 2019, 2020. So I just initially I used to do it like want to look big or whatever. But right now it's just about keeping fit.
And also it helps with your mind as well. Keeping active. But then how did you sort of maintain that in your SRC term? Because it gets really busy, I'm sure. So how did you fit fitness within that position?
I think that's what gives you balance. It should be something that draws back sanity into your head, because usually you're faced with a lot of pressure. You have students wanting this, you have conflict within your own team, you have other issues that you structural issues that you need to address, and at times you're just fighting fires. You're fighting fires, and especially with our term, we had a lot of firefighting to do with COVID-19. Nothing was conventional. We didn't have a textbook to copy from, or so it was just, everything was just new to us. And I think fitness is something that gave me sanity, or like, because I could wake up early in the morning, run up and back, see the sun coming up. So already you now have a different perspective on the day. You know, there's something to look forward to. So it's something that helps you, no matter how busy you are. You can just take an hour off your time.
Okay, we have a slight problem now. It's kind of raining. So as I was asking, you mentioned COVID-19 was not in the previous answer. So I wanted to know what was the biggest challenge before COVID-19 and then your biggest challenge after COVID-19, during COVID-19?
Okay, so before COVID-19, the biggest challenge for me was learning on the job, like fitting the shoes that are in front of you. And if people already forgot because of COVID, but at the very beginning of our term, we had our own challenges that were not COVID related. Our term was like, we started work earlier, but we didn't have a structure as a team. Like, we didn't have a structure as a team. We're just all SRC members, no positions. We had to organize ourselves, like do this. So when I got into office now, that adjustment of always, when you don't have a chair, it's all about voluntary work, in the sense that if there is an issue of food insecurity, we would ask everybody, like, who wants to work on this? Who wants to work on this? But now, I was there, and I'm the head of the SRC, and now I need to drive the ship and adjust and tell my SRC members that no, we're not looking for volunteers anymore. You're not supposed to be volunteering. That's your job. This is what you're going to do. So I think that was exactly delegating. That was one of the biggest challenges, because even for myself, I was used to the voluntary thing. Like, we always ask you, okay, do you want to do this? And then you say, no, I don't want to do it. And then we look for the next person. But now I had to delegate. So that was one of the big shifts. And as I mentioned, we already had a unique term without COVID. A lot of fighting, a lot of internal investigations, things being stopped, and now we had to work normally. So we all had to adjust to that, to be like, okay, nobody's under investigation, we can continue with the work. And then now when we got into COVID, that's when, but I think the initial phase of what we went through as a team, it actually prepared us for the challenges that we even faced during COVID, because it wasn't the first time for our team to face any tribulations or being shaken. So after that happened, after COVID came, I was amazed by the amount of support that I was even receiving from the other SRC members. Everyone was acting as if everything is normal. We said, okay, we are going to shift our SRC meetings to online. And at that time, this online thing wasn't too popular, because everybody was just thinking that we're going home for 2 weeks and then we're coming back. But everyone was like, no, we're going to fulfill our constitutional mandate, which stipulates us to meet every 2 weeks. So if we have to do it on Teams, so be it. So it wasn't just me, but it was everyone else around me accepting those changes and being fighters till the very end. It wasn't an easy term for me, and it wasn't an easy term for anyone within our team. The thing is, you have drafted a budget. You drafted a budget to say that this is what you want to do. I want to focus on student engagement, and then the next minute you don't have students on campus. So that's it.
How do you shift everything around and actually work towards? No, that's very good. Okay, I want to pose a quick challenge. Do you think that this is enough space for us to do like sit-ups or something, just to sort of get the blood flowing and get us over?
Yeah.
Looking since now your term has come and gone, right? Looking at the new leadership that's been elected, what's sort of your let's say your impression of the new team that's been elected?
I think they'll do absolutely great. Ola is the chair. He served as the Academics Affairs Council chair during our term. He was in the SRC executive. I'm pretty sure that he has all his tools in order, and he actually witnessed how to work during COVID times, and has got vast institutional knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that he'll be able to lead his team in a way better way than we even did as a team. So I'm very optimistic. I saw the people who ran, and it's the thing. It comes back to natural science, like things about selection. So if you were selecting from a huge group, it's more likely that you get a finer team, a more competent team, because everybody had to fight in order to secure a place within this SRC compared to our SRC. So I'm pretty sure that everybody who's in there is very hardworking, is full of determination, and has got a strong support system, which are the people who support you, who push you, your constituency, people who you are serving. So I'm pretty sure that they worked pretty hard to get where they are, and I don't think that saving the students will be a bigger challenge.
I get you. That's true. And then what's your biggest advice to them in the coming term? Sort of what would you advise them?
Okay, so if we have to go back to my advice, I think the first thing would be try and understand the grounds that you are working on. We always come in with these cliche quotes to kind of say that I'll always think outside the box, or I'll always think inside the box, whatever it is. But when you are serving people and you only have 1 year and less than a year, because you're going to go on holiday, so you have less than a year, it's not about fighting to expand the walls. For me, it's about using whatever you have in your hands at that current moment and making something out of it. You don't have a lot of time. You can't be fighting to change the whole thing to look to go upside down from the way that ever since the way that you walked into office. So you don't have that much time. There is no time for that, especially if you're in the SRC. So there are already low-hanging fruits that you can always get first, and then now if you have a bigger goal, or like something that you think that should be continued in the next team, it comes back to you doing the least that you can during your term, not being hard on yourself, and then passing it over to the other team. It's just like our team. The biggest thing that the majority of the people that I was serving with had was to fight issues of historical debt, to fight issues of students being academically included in the institution but financially excluded. So that was one of our biggest fights, and I think we did really great in that. We had a successful registration period where we ensured that even students who were financially disadvantaged got the chance to get into the institution. It wasn't just our work. So I think that goes to the second point on what I would advise them. It was through collaboration. You're not there to burn bridges for the entire institution. You're not there to go into offices and shout up until you damage relationships, and people who are within those offices get to a point where they say, I don't want to see any SRC member in here. You are ruining the relationship for 33,000 students just because you couldn't control your temper. So your role as the SRC is to build a bridge, and it might not be a famous thing already, especially in the South African education context. It's always us versus them. We create a toxic environment between students, management, and the SRC, where students get played as pawns in this whole equation. Like if I want something to get across, I'm even moving my personal agenda, I'll go and mobilize students to go and say, no, this is the person who said this, we have to protest, or like we have to burn down things because this guy said that. But it comes back to you getting that mandate from the people who elected you, and building a bridge for them, and making things happen on their behalf. We don't have to always go to the extremes. Yes, at times that's the only route that we have, but there are a lot of things that you can do within our own means, within the things that are given to us. It means that there is a power of collaboration. And I remember during the registration period, we went and sat down with some people in the management and said that right now we have, for example, 27 students who are financially excluded.
and the next day you would be told that, okay, we spoke to this, and this, and they availed $1 million for these students. And they would tell us that, this $1 million actually helped everyone who was on this list. If they asked you other students, please bring them so that we can just do this whole thing at once. So it goes back to collaboration. It goes back to building bridges and not burning bridges.
And I think it's also very important, just to build on that, for forthcoming SRC members as well, that let's say you guys built those bridges, or a certain SRC group built those bridges, they can then further be used by the forthcoming SRC members, instead of actually burning them and then preventing the others now from being able to work together in collaboration with those people, and helping more students in that as well.
And I think, to me, that was also the biggest lesson that I got, because walking into the SRC, you have this thing that okay, we are there to fight, guns blazing every time, but at times you just have to be calm, you have to be composed, you have to elaborate the need to the person who's sitting right in front of you and say, look, we have 27 students here. Unless you're willing to send these 27 students home, that's when we will have a disagreement. But we have a chance of actually finding a way where these 27 students can be funded. And we find that way while you're sitting down together. So it's the power of collaboration. It's the power of not trying to climb our political ladders and using students as our ponies to climb those ladders. Say students are crying of hunger, yet you know that within your power as an SRC member, you can always go to the department that's dealing with that and come up with solutions. Go with a list of students who are facing that problem, and not go on social media and say these students are struggling with hunger, because now there's that thing of you're making somebody feel inferior. Like, we shouldn't make students feel that they are in a disadvantaged position. If we are leaders, don't use them as your ponies. Represent them, even if they don't know that you are the one who did this. Don't go out there and claim credit to say that we are the ones who actually made this disappear. And I think it's one thing that my team did really well. Nobody wanted grandstanding.
Because you're not greater than the team.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there's another problem of also creating a problem and then you solve it. That's not your. It usually happens. We create a problem. There's a problem of students walking on the lawn. We invite students to walk on the lawn, and then we say there's a problem of students walking on the lawn, and then we kick students out of the lawn and say we solved this problem. It's not about that. Being in the SRC means that you are representing the disadvantaged people within the team. And there's one quote that I started with at the beginning of the term. I was told, it's Dr. Choice Macheto who actually said that. He said that when we usually look at ratings, or when we usually look at feedback on how we did things, we celebrate that we got a 80% approval rating. But it's not the 80% that we're supposed to focus on. It's the 20%. Who didn't approve of our work?
Why is it
that they didn't approve? That's where the problem is. So if you are an SRC member, that's the advice that I'm now giving to anyone, even not from this institution. Your main focus should be solely on the 20%. And on this 80%, it's now uniting them on the cause of these students who are dissatisfied by what is happening. And then uniting the whole student body so that everyone can be on the same page.
Yes. Amazing. Wow, that was very fulfilling and sort of really insightful as well, if I could say. There's a lot to learn from there. To all the future leaders, to all the current SRC members who have just been elected, take word or take heed of what he is saying and carry it through into your term. Okay, so what happens now for Lewis Mboko? What happens now for you? What is next for you now?
So besides academics, obviously that's what we are doing. Everybody's busy with something in life. Either you're doing academics or you're doing work. It shouldn't be an excuse to serve. So for me, from here, I've looked at 2 goals that I want to reach, or things that I want to work on. The first one, obviously, is I've realized that there's a very big problem of students facing exclusion, especially from a financial perspective. And now that we've had COVID and all these disruptions, it's going to continue into the future. So I'm working with the social justice chair, and I'll probably work with the SRC as well to raise 10 million grants for students, so that next year or in the years to come, we won't have issues of students being excluded because of historical debt. And then the second one, which I've always been passionate about, is to try and groom young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. Not young people that are already within universities, but if we go to the communities surrounding us, we see that there are a lot of people with potential, but all they lack is mentorship. All they lack at times is just having a book or a pen or somebody who tells them that, no, this is what you want to do, for them to fulfill their dreams. So that's my biggest goal. It is like the one with historic debt, it's a short-term goal, but the long-term goal is to go out there in the community, mentor, teach if I have to, do whatever I can to ensure that I can create that ripple effect. I might be able to only touch 10 lives, but if you touch 10 people who actually make it to university in the future, you've changed their whole families, you've changed their friends, and you don't know who they will change.
That's ripple effect.
You are an engineer, like how the ripple effect works. So it's not all about us trying to impact the whole of disadvantaged students, but it's to do the least that we can.
Yes, and do that properly,
And do it properly. And those people will help each other up until we touch the wall.
Yeah, man, there's all these things, the butterfly effect, the ripple effect, the domino effect, all of these things. Touch one, help one to help another.
Exactly.
Yes, that's very good. But that brings us to the end of our little interview. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being keen to change things up and decided to switch on us. But to you viewers, thank you for tuning in this far in the video, and thank you for watching. If you did like the content, please do like the video, leave a comment, share the video, and subscribe, and share the video. Please make sure you let the people know that the content is boosting on All Things Phoka. If you want to reach out to Lewis, can I put your Instagram handle? Yeah, reach out to Lewis, check out his initiatives that he's pushing after this. And thank you.
Thank you so much for the good vibes.